Welcome to episode 129. It is Friday morning. 129. Do you know what? It's quite scary. These days are passing by so quickly. 129 already. Super excited to be here Friday morning with you guys. And we are talking. I don't know why I put my fists up. If you're watching this on YouTube, I've actually put my fists up like, well, fight with somebody, come on. I don't know why I've done that. Right, we are talking about what motivates me. And the reason why this came up is because somebody asked me on a podcast, what is your why? What motivates you? What gets you up in the morning? Why? How are you so energetic? And there's two reasons. There's two fundamental reasons why I'm so energetic and why I'm so motivated. And I believe that you too, you can be so motivated as well when you know your why. It's so important for everybody to have their why. We've already done a podcast episode on this, one of the very, very first ones we did, because it's that important to everybody, to what is your why. I think is so important, so fundamental to everything we do. And I'm going to share with you my two whys. One, I've never really shared before, and it's not until I was asked this question that I started really thinking about it and considering it. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, holy shit, yeah, that is one of my whys. That is why I do what I do. That is why that certain aspects of my personality is. That's, and I'll share that with you in just a minute. If you guys are interested, because I know a lot of you guys are actually out running, out jogging, you're busy, you're doing something, you're washing the pots, whatever it may be, you're in the gym, you're on the way to work, you're driving, you can't always take notes. So what I have done for you is I have got the best podcast note taker in the business, a professional, if you like. And she is sat there listening right now, taking notes, taking the fundamental, the best takeaways and putting them in a little package for you guys. If you want the last 7 days notes, the epic notes from these episodes, just head on over to motivatedentrepreneurs.co.uk and it's on the homepage there. You can just put your email address and we'll send them across to you. Okay, so we're talking about motivation and what motivates me. Why do I do what I do? And one of the things that really motivates me, and it's not a nice thought. What I try to do is I imagine my funeral. Who's going to turn up for my funeral? And I believe I first got this from Gary Vee. And when he said it, I was like, oh yeah, that's the same for me too. And I want the whole town to be there. I want the funeral hall to be packed. Because do you know what? It kind is, again, it's a scoreboard for your life. If the funeral hall is packed, then either it means you've died long before you should have done, and there's everybody there that's, upset because you died, or two, and which I hope is for me, is that you impacted so many people on a positive scale. And so a lot of my drive, a lot of my motivation, a lot of my determination is I want to ask myself, how will people see you after you pass? How will people see you and remember you after you're dead, when you're dead? And I know it's somber, I know it's Friday and it's horrible to talk like this, but I always want to be open and honest with you guys. So I often think that when I make decisions, whenever sometimes I don't make decisions for, like, example, I've just given up a $50,000 a year for 9 months advertising with the Betting Guy. I no longer will be doing the Betting Guy after this football season. Why? Because I don't want to make decisions based on money. I want to make decisions in my life based on legacy. How many people can I affect? And is it congruent with where I'm going and who I am? And that part of my life is now finished. And yes, it's fantastic money, but I don't want to be going down that route anymore. I don't want to be making decisions based on monetary values. I want to be making decisions on my legacy. How will people think and perceive me when I'm no longer here? I want to have a legacy. So that is number one. The question I always ask myself is, well, number one is, how do I want to be perceived? How do I want to be remembered when I'm no longer here? And that question alone drives me. It makes me want to be a better version of myself, the best version of myself. I want people to have a positive memory of me, and I want to positively impact as many people as possible, whether it be motivation, energy, drive, determination, or just being there for people. I look at I'm getting embarrassed and nervous. I don't want to talk about what I did in the COVID situation and stuff, but I like to feel like that I did myself proud and I helped out as many people as I possibly could do. And that is what drives my decisions. That is what drives me and a lot of the decisions that I make. Because I want a legacy. I want my kids to be proud and think, that's my dad. That's my dad. And I could easily get emotional here, because that for me is better than money. That's better than any other achievement. That my kids will be proud to say, I'm their dad. That's my dad. And so I want legacy. I can feel myself getting all emotional. That's my legacy. That means more to me than anything else, how I am remembered. And I urge you to think about how you want to be remembered. And it will make your decisions a lot easier in life and what the direction you're taking. Number two, the other thing that makes me motivated in the morning and my why is definitely my kids and my family. At the minute, my wife, she's in terrible pain with her hip. And we're not yet in a position where we can ring up the best. We've been to so many different people and so many different doctors and surgeons. And unfortunately, when she has these outbreaks of pain, she can't move very well. She's literally stuck downstairs. She can't. Everything's an issue. Everything's a problem. And I kind of feel like I'm failing her when she's like this, because I'm supposed to be the umbrella. I will do an episode about the umbrella effect. I'll mention that, the umbrella effect. There we go. I probably can't even read that writing. I'll just write it down. So I'll do a podcast all about the umbrella effect. Great. I just dropped my pen. And the umbrella effect, I'll go into it in later great detail. But basically, I feel like I'm the family's umbrella. And the problem is when my wife's in pain with a hip and can't move and can't do anything, then I kind of feel like the umbrella, me, has let her down. In fact, you know what? I'll do an episode. Is it no, I can't. I'll do it next week. Sometime next week, I'll do an episode about the umbrella effect. And yeah, I feel like that when she's in pain, I feel like that if it was David Beckham's wife, Victoria Beckham, would she be in the same situation? Would she be in the same pain? And the answer is no, because she would get the world's best person to look at her to make sure. My wife's only in her 30s. She shouldn't be having these issues. She shouldn't be. And by the way, it only happens every now and again, maybe once every 3 months. But it really, I don't tell her this, but it gets me down. I feel like I failed her. And also, in the same sort of answer to what motivates me, because it's family health. When my son was 4 years old, he actually had septicemia. And when he had septicemia, oh man, I genuinely don't like talking about this, but I feel like that it's a benefit to others. He was in hospital for 14 nights and 16 days. And it was horrendous. And at some points, it was looking like he wasn't. I don't want to say wasn't going to pull through, but we sat down with the doctors, and the doctor said that he wasn't actually being. The medicine and the fluids that they was giving him, it wasn't helping. He wasn't making the strides forward that they expected. And before that, we tried to take him to doctors 3 different days consecutively after each other. Poor kid he was lied there with septicemia. But we went to doctors, and the doctors, hospitals turned us away. We kind of got no respect because I can only imagine. I don't know. Just like over that, they kind of didn't believe that he was as bad as what we said he was. He was literally lifeless. I was carrying him into hospital in my arms, and he was not functioning. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't walking. It was a horribly painful experience for us. But that now motivates me because I never want to be in that situation again. I want to make sure that in all areas of life, in health, and I want to be able to get the very, very best medical cover, the very, very best medical care. And because I'm the umbrella, I'm the provider for my family, and I want to make sure that I look after my family to the best of my ability. So that gets me up in the morning when I don't want to do it, when I don't feel very motivated. I look back and think, do you know what? If I had X amount of money, and by the way, I'm not going to say I'm not really money oriented, but I bloody am money oriented. It's like, for me, money's a scoreboard, and I do want the best for my family. And my wife, if we had the money, I know right now that I'd £200,000, I'd hop on a plane, I'd go and see the world's best surgeon for hips. I'd go and get their opinion rather than the doctors we've had, because nobody seems to know what's matter with her. And we would find the answers. My son, when he was getting turned away from doctors, we would have made sure that, and I know it's a long episode, I've just seen the amount of time going on, but this is really, really important to me. It's my core, and it's what drives me. The experiences that we have in life, they turn out to be your driving force. That experience was a terrible, terrible experience, but I'm using it as fuel to light the fire inside me, to motivate me, to bring me forward. And you can do the same as well when you're going through tough times, when you're going through horrible times. times that are upsetting and demanding on you, you can turn that upside down and you can use that as a fire. You can use that as your why. And I know that if we'd have had the money, we'd have had the best medical care out there, that maybe we wouldn't have had to spend 14 days in a hospital, 14 nights, in a hospital, because maybe, just maybe, somebody might have picked up on it earlier. And we bypassed that hospital. We went to a different hospital. And as soon as we went to a different hospital with a different doctor, what happened? Straight upstairs, put tubes, all sorts of things in the poor kid. Had to hold him down. And it was lucky we did, because if we didn't have done that, then if we wouldn't have made that decision to go to another hospital and bypass and not listen to what the doctors were telling us, if we wouldn't have made that decision, do you know what? Who knows where we'd have been? I don't want to say probably, I may not have been having this conversation with you, because if I'd have just left it and listened to the doctors, it's okay, it's just an ear infection. It wasn't an ear infection. And do you know what? I remember it clear as day when the doctors were saying he's not actually responding to the medication like we expect. It was on my grandma's funeral day, and I couldn't actually go to my grandma's funeral because I didn't want to be anywhere else apart from the hospital. So I know that this has been a long, kind of emotional episode, but I wanted to share with you my two whys. I want, one, how will I be remembered? How will you be remembered? And that motivates me not more than anything, but it motivates me a lot, because I know how I want to be remembered. And therefore, if I want to remember a certain way, then I need to make them decisions now to ensure that I am remembered in that light. And number two, I want to make sure that I can provide and help my family in any situations, any circumstances. Because as Michael Jordan said, I'm going to absolutely mess this quote up. As Michael Jordan says, he's never yet come across a problem where money makes it worse. And I'm very aware that I'm talking about money an awful lot in this episode. But if we're honest about what motivates us, do you know what? What motivates me is money. It's a scoreboard. But not only that, it gives my family the best options out there. And that's what I want. I was going to say not for myself, but yeah, for myself as well, because I feel proud. I feel privileged to be able to look after my family. Anyway, this is pretty deep. This has been a really, really, really deep episode for a Friday. Tomorrow, we are talking James Boardman. He has a book out. Boardman, not Broadman. Please don't tell him I said that. Boardman, James Boardman. And he has got a book out called It's a State of Mind. There it is there. It's an absolutely brilliant book, and I loved it so much. This is why I love podcasting. I loved it so much. I reached out to him and said, hey, you would be perfect for my audience. He's a motivational ninja. He had post-traumatic PT, whatever. I know I'll mess it up. I apologize if I offended anybody, but I'm not even going to try and say, because I know I'll mess up and offend somebody. But when he came back from Iraq and the tours that he was doing, he wasn't very motivated. He went into deep depression, and his journey is just so incredible. And now he helps other people who are in that situation, not necessarily coming back from war, but also just help them who have hit low points in their life. And from time to time, we all get down. But this guy, he literally is perfect for motivated entrepreneurs. He's got a business all about it, and I cannot wait to do the book review tomorrow. So I'm going to do a book review tomorrow about It's a State of Mind, and then the following week he is coming on this podcast, and it's going to be a great, great episode. So I really, really look forward to sharing my thoughts on that book review. Right, this has been a really, really long episode, nearly 15 minutes long. I promise you I won't go on like this again, but I just wanted to delve into a little bit deeper. I have done What Is Your Why before. Check it out if you haven't already done so. It's one of the very, very first episodes. It performed very, very well in terms of how many downloads and how many listened to it towards the end, right the way up to the end. But I just wanted to delve a little bit deeper and really open up and tell you what is my why, what motivates me, and why I do what I do. And it's nice if you have a why, I promise you, then life becomes easier, because when you are stuck in a rut, when you are not feeling very motivated, when you're not feeling like you can do the X, Y, Z, then that pushes you across the line, your why. So you must have a why. And there's a great book, Dean Graziosi talks about it in the Underdog, I can't remember the full name, the Underdog something, Dean Graziosi, he talks about it, is when you're asked your why, what is your why? Your knee-jerk reaction might be, to give my best, to give my kids the best. And it's not just the initial one, that's a surface answer. You need to delve deeper and deeper and deeper. Some people say 5 times, ask your why 5 times. Some people say 7 times. For me, I know my why because of the experiences I've had And I hope that I hope that nobody has gone through something similar that I've been through or worse, because I honestly, I don't know how you go for it. I don't know how you cope with it. And that's now my why. That's how I know my why. So if you haven't already done so, please, please, please try the 7 whys. Ask yourself 7 times why. Why do you do what you do? Why is it important for you to be rich, to be wealthy, to be successful? And success can be loads of different things. Success can be an amazing husband, and your why may be because you never saw that when you was growing up. I don't know. So do that. And I promise you, but if you know your why, then life becomes that much more manageable, that much easier when you go through the tough times. And we all go through tough periods in our life. So question yourself, ask yourself, what is your why? And I promise you, when you have your why, then you know what? Everything becomes easier. And I'm very, very aware that I keep repeating myself all the time. So after 17 minutes, I am going to sign off. But I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me rabbit on. But hopefully you got to know me a little bit more in this episode, and a little bit, I suppose it's a little bit raw, isn't it? Right. Go on and have a good Friday. For God's sake, don't listen to me too much more. I just wanted to, be deep and be honest with you guys. And hopefully I've done that. Right. So tomorrow, don't forget to tune in, because we've got a great, honestly, it's a great book. And then enjoy the weekend. Have an awesome Friday. I appreciate you guys, and I will be speaking to you later. Ta-ta. Ta-ta. Why do I say ta-ta? See you later. Bye-bye.